It's so good to be here. It's a delight to be here during the Christmas season and to share with you the state of the county. And I chose a long time ago not to just do that as a chairman, but collectively. And the last time we presented, I guess, was May of 2020. And we do it by all the commissioners coming up and sharing what's going on in their geographical area. And also I've got a couple of managers here and our county attorney. The thing that I want to focus on quickly, because we are a little bit short of time, I think, is on the people that are going to speak. We've got from the Northwest, Brian Stover, who is also the chairman pro tem. You drop down to the Southeast, we've got Commissioner Chuck Hart, and then move over to the Southwest, and you've got Sandy Caker, Commissioner Caker, who's out there in the airport world. And then we've also got Keith Dunn over to the Northeast, who is not here today, and if I have time, I'll say something about that. And then we've got our County Administrator, Frank Baker, and finally, our Director of Operations is Scott Green. So they're all here today, along with many staff, and they do such a good job. The reason I want to mention something about Keith is he called me on Monday and said he's the president of Prime Contractors. Let me just mention what all that. Sandy is also a Aflac insurance agent. Chuck Hart's with Southern Company Gas and in corporate security and fire investigator. And then Brian Stover's main business is BLD Roll-Off, but he's got several other businesses. So all these post commissioners, I'm the only one that's full-time, so they're all part-time, and they have to juggle how they serve the county with how they work, in their normal job. And it's amazing to me how much time this board has spent to get to know the issues, to get trained up, and to be able to serve you guys in the room and the rest of Paulding County. Quite a remarkable board, and I've been in the military for 30 years. I've worked around some good people, and these are the best. So Keith's actually going to be substituted by our county attorney to bring out the highlights from his. And then the people that they're not all in their shirts, but different colored polo shirts. They're here. And they all do such a wonderful job in their particular areas. And so their staff, I actually coined the acronym S for super, T for talented, A for active, F for friendly, and the second F for forces. So super talented, active, friendly forces. These are the people that we go to as the commissioners for their expertise, and they're the ones that give us the information we need and the recommendations, whether it's traffic mobility or it's budget issues or anything out of the numerous categories. We've got 18 departments, and there are things that we can't make decisions without their input. So I asked them to just name one of their favorite accomplishments. If you look at the colored little placemat, if you will, on one side, on the other side, they've listed one of their greatest achievements for the year, really the year and a half since we reported. And if you want the longer version, as you go out the doors today, we'll hand you a bigger bulletin, and you can read at your leisure all the things that these departments get done for the county. A unique area of expertise in our county is the legal domain. And I salute Jason Phillips, our outstanding county attorney, along with the entire Talley Richardson Cable team firm for the year and a half work again since we reported in 2020. And I'm extremely happy to report that to this audience particularly that all the lawsuits related to the airport are behind us. the final word I'll say about unity and teamwork this afternoon is just to share about a fairly new initiated joint board that is very gratifying and special to me. We just call it the joint boards plural. And we've held 4 board meetings. We try to meet every 3 or 4 months and hear from one another. So it brings together the Board of Commissioners, the Board of Education, the Industrial Building Authority, the Economic Development Organization, the Airport Authority, the City of Dallas and the City of Hiram, and of course, our very own Chamber of Commerce that I'm grateful to today for continuing these luncheons that we might stay connected and stay up on what's going on also in a larger group. So, I see us as a group of pyramids in 3D, and in 2D on the screen there, as all of us connected together, it becomes a nice package with a ribbon on it. The package developing there, and put a ribbon on it, and we can give it to our county as a whole, truly Team Paulding. So we greatly benefit from getting together and having those meetings. So I'm going to pass the Grinch baton over to Keith Dunn's replacement, and we're on the same track team here.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Let me get situated here. My name's Jason Phillips. I serve as the county attorney. I'm a partner with Tally Richardson and Cable. And it's my honor today to stand in for Post 1 Commissioner Keith Dunn. As I get started, as you can see on the screen, what's a post? Paulding County is divided into 4 different posts. All right, and there is the chairman, Mr. Carmichael. He serves as the chairman for it all, but each post has their own commissioner. Post 1 commissioner is Commissioner Keith Dunn, and as you can see up there, Post 1 is kind of situated over towards the northeast side of the county. Post 1 is, size-wise, it's about 38 square miles, for those of you kind of geography dorks, all right? 38 square miles, land mass, that's about 12% of the entire county, or 1/8 of the entire county. But although it may be small, about 40,000 people live in Post 1, which is about 25% of the county. So while we have 12% of the county in land mass, we've got 1/4 of its people. In that area, several roads, Post 1 is almost a gateway to the county because 3 of the county's major roads, 278, 92, 120, they all flow through Post 1. So if you're coming to Paulding County, you're likely going to go through Post 1 unless you come up from the bottom or down from the top. Highlights for 2021. Let's talk about this first on the Parks and Rec side. Mount Tabor Park. Mount Tabor Park should be getting, at least it's in the conceptual phase right now, a new pavilion. The great thing about SPLOST dollars is that comes from local sales tax. That money is going to be used, at least part of that money, part of that Park SPLOST money, is going to build this new pavilion out at Mount Tabor Park. As you can see, it's a concept only, so what it ultimately looks like may change, but that'll be coming to Mount Tabor Park. Updates on the business side, highlights. Since from the beginning of the year until September of this year, there have been 126 new business licenses that have been issued in the county inside Post 1. 23 of those have been for traditional commercial businesses, and 103 of those have been for home-based businesses. As most of us know, we've got a brand new Costco that opened in the spring. So rather than, I'm a Costco member, rather than having to drive to Barrett Parkway, once you get there, you got to figure out which traffic signal to go up that little hill behind Barrett Parkway. If you're lucky, you'll end up at Costco, but you may end up at the bowling alley or Dick's. All right, we no longer have to put up with that anymore. We've got our own Costco right on Charles Hardy Parkway. And to give you, although the Board of Commissioners, DOT, certainly played a role in help bringing them here through new traffic signals and new access points to the property. In conjunction with that partnership, since they opened through mid-October, this particular Costco location has generated $1.6 million in local tax revenue. So that is a big impact on how our local economy, and we use that money, it goes to the schools, it goes to the county. That has a big impact on the quality of life here. Plus, we've got to drive a lot less places to get there. Road improvements for 2021. One of the things that people will see, if you don't repave your roads, they fall apart. Every year in every post, DOT is resurfacing the roads. This year in Post 1, it was Graham Road, Summerhill Road, Lake Road, and I think probably what everybody has seen, Dallas-Ackworth Highway up 381. Everybody loves a new freshly repaved road because it's smooth for about 12 months and then it eventually gets a little bit older. But in addition to the through roads, they do subdivisions as well. The subdivisions you see on the screen: Hanover, Savannah's Lace, Highland Point at Waterford, Parkside at Waterford, Sunset Peak. All those subdivisions have been recently resurfaced in Post 1. I don't live in Post 1, but I know my subdivision has been resurfaced in the last 60 days. It's a wonderful thing to drive down a smooth road and you can actually hear yourself talk. And the key is don't drive over the surface when they spray that black stuff down or it'll end up on the side of your car. I had to warn my wife to stay inside the day they were paving, but all is good. Road improvements, all right. We've also got intersection improvements in Post 1. First one there, that's the intersection of Mackland, Business 6, Butler Industrial. Everybody probably knows that by saying that's where the McDonald's is in Dallas. When you cruise in there southbound on Mackland, you know that you're going to get bottled up if that light is red, even though you may be headed into downtown Dallas. If you're headed into downtown Dallas, you got to swing your head back to the left like an owl to see whether it's clear because of the way that slip ramp is set in there. This intersection is currently in the design phase for improvement, so in the months and years to come, this will be a much better intersection to pass through. We are now in the age of traffic circles. The first traffic circle in Paulding County, I believe I'm correct, was in the Walmart, the new Walmart. These traffic circles are starting to grow out of just the shopping center, and they are coming in hordes, we hope, to Paulding County. If you've ever commuted into Cobb from Bobo, you know in the morning you have the privilege of going through 2 four-way stops that are less than a quarter mile from one another. Where Bobo and Mackland, I think Bobo and Mount Tabor come together, 2 four-way stops, it probably adds about 15 minutes to your commute. Department of Transportation is actively in the process of turning those 4-way stops into 2 different traffic circles. So hopefully that'll make that portion of the morning commute a little bit better. Also on the south end of Post 1, and just so you know, Post 1, it starts at the north, kind of at the Starbucks at Crossroads. From there it goes over to Pickett's Mill. From there it goes down to Mount Tabor Park. You go on down further, you're going to get to White Oak Park after you travel through Dallas. That's kind of the extent of Post 1. At the very south end, where Davis Mill Road crosses SR 120 connector, there is another 4-way stop that greets you every morning and every rush hour in the afternoon. That too is currently in the process of being turned into a traffic circle. So they are coming. Hopefully that'll make our citizens' commutes a little bit better. Finally, thanks to the Georgia Department of Transportation, Mackland from the Cobb County line, moving all the way to Charles Hardy Parkway, that is going to be a divided 4-lane road, again, helping to ease your commute in and out of the county. I'm fortunate to be one of the few people that gets to live and work in this county. I drive a 2-lane country road to work. I'm grateful for that. But hopefully as this county continues to grow, more and more of you will experience the same thing I get to do, live and work in the same county. Finally, in closing, I'd like to say that If you are a Post 1 resident, your commissioner, Keith Dunn, he's got about almost 12 months under his belt as a new commissioner. Keith is a person he likes to get into the details. He works hand in hand with his fellow commissioners, but he really likes to get into those details. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty. In fact, his hands pretty much are very dirty by the detail at which he tackles these challenges. When he makes a decision in Post 1 and for the county, he wants to make a decision that's good for the county today, but Keith also looks 10 years down the road to say, is the decision I make today going to be beneficial to this county 10 years down the road? That's how he operates. Finally, he wanted me to say that this coming weekend, he wanted me to say, go Dogs. I'm not authorized to say that specifically. Since Keith asked me to make the statement today on his behalf, my true boss, my wife, would want me to close by saying Roll Tide, but I'm not going to do that. All right, at this time, I'll pass this baton. Commissioner Caker.
Good afternoon. My name is Sandy Caker, and I am Post 2 Commissioner here in Paulding. I have basically the southwest corner of Paulding County. Not a lot of citizens, but we do have a lot of green space in Post 2, and I love it that way. We also have an airport in Post 2. Has anybody heard of our airport? Most of you have. We've gone through a lot in the past in the past 10 years. I've gone through it for 3.5 years, but the airport is finally on the road to success. We have gotten rid of all the lawsuits, and we've got groundbreaking coming up for our new A&P school with Chattahoochee Tech. So that is a great leg for our airport, and hope to see more businesses to come. The airport has been slow in getting up and going, but we're there, and get ready for the ride because it's going to be a good one. A lot of people are worried and wondering about the four-way at Rose's store. Everybody in Post 2 knows where that is and is very aware of what happens there on morning and afternoon basis. We are working on a roundabout. However, a couple of the property owners haven't been as cooperative as we would like them to be, but we are, according to George, we are well on our way with that and should be completing the paperwork and engineering soon. So, Rose's store roundabout, we're on our way. What do we have next? Mulberry Rock Park. Is Michael Justice here? Michael Justice and I have been working very hard to get this phase 2 going on Mulberry Rock. A lot of people have wanted to see that through. A lot of people didn't realize that there were different phases to Mulberry Rock and thought that it was going to be completed on the first phase. Well, there is a phase 2. It has been engineered, and we should be breaking ground on that soon as well. We're going to have more trails, hopefully a splash pad, all kinds of things that the citizens in Post 2 would like to see. I wanted to go back to the airport. I was going to get Terry to come up and speak with me, but if we all know Terry, he would take up my whole 5 minutes, so I decided not to ask him to come. there's a lot going on in Post 2. Like I said, I want to keep as much green space as we possibly can because Post 2 is just beautiful over in the southwest part. But we do have, and we've been waiting for a while, Lori, we have the water expansion going up Buchanan Highway. So for those of you that live along Buchanan and the residentials around that area, you'll be eligible to get water very soon. I think that might do it for Post 2. Like I said, there is a lot going on, but they only gave me 5 minutes, so I will let it go there. And if you have any questions, just come talk to me. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Thank you. And I'm going to hand this off to Chuck Hart.
Thank you. Guys, I am Chuck Hart. I'm the Post 3 Commissioner in the southeast corner of the county here. In our little nook of the woods, though, we have the greatest commercial and industrial success as far as the county goes and growth. I'm excited, though, throughout the pandemic, all these government agencies, they've been defined by their policies and by their leadership within their organizations. But, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank every frontline worker, every public safety department head, my colleagues, both local and state level, for showing leadership both now and in the previous administrations. And our successes have been a direct result of those that we serve, those that have been served, and those that serve us currently. And a good example of it is really, guys, this whole Greystone facility is beautiful, which is, by the way, one of the county's largest employers. We just want to still extend a great thank you for having us here and allowing us and hosting this event today. I want to start out as far as infrastructure. I want to talk about a grant. We've been looking at it. As in my last update, we mentioned many infrastructure accomplishments. But I'm glad to report that Appalachian Regional Grant was awarded to Paulding as of May 25th, thanks to Laurie Ashmore, Tabitha Pollard, Ray Wooten, for their hard work. This represents $600,000 of money to be granted, applied to this sewer extension that's going to go from Nebo Road down to the Hiram Pump Station. Guys, this is not only going to rectify current sewage issues in that area, but it's also going to serve to foster in future growth as far as our commercial and industrial in that area. Also, when we're talking about Laurie and we're talking about that bunch, their federal dollars are being committed to increase the capacity of the copper mine facility by 1 million gallons a minute. This thing it's pretty much torquing, isn't it, Laurie? It's where it needs to be, but it needs that extension. So grateful that these funds came in. I love to see us grab these funds because that means it doesn't, it's not so much on the taxpayer, it's not so much on the homeowner. These plans have already been engineered and will be submitted for bid this year. Another thing that we don't think about a lot of times, but I'm grateful for, is we've secured the secondary land for the secondary transfer station. This is going to be 2 of 3 that we have in a 5-year plan. Guys, this is not only going to alleviate the long lines that are experienced by our homeowners and our residents, but also provide for better support, commercial and residential sanitation needs going forward. So it's grateful. I know Scott and them are working towards this being sort of a public-private partnership and creating these transfer stations that's going to help us in our county. Transportation, I know that they stood up and they told you a lot of stories about a lot of roads in their area. I guess you guys probably experience 92 on a daily basis that come in and out of Greystone. It's a great thing. It's a great project. But it's so good that state dollars, they just keep flowing in, to help us. And matter of fact, I talked to Jerry. Jerry Sharon helps me probably on a monthly basis with clearing up any kind of constituent needs or complaints in this area and trying to iron out some of these things as this project goes on. I know a lot of people have had to suffer, through this, but it's going to be a great thing once it's finished. Also, when we talk about roundabouts, smart lights, bridge projects continue to flow. The funds continue to flow into the Post 3 area to support these things. The roundabout that me and Sandy share up here at Corn Store and Ridge Road, I mean, it was just a blessing. Now, we did have to suffer through a lot of complaints, didn't we, through the building of it? It took a minute, but it's been wonderful, and we're slated for another one out there, actually going out Pine Valley, going towards the Douglasville area. Guys, when we talk about recreation, I'll point you towards the Taylor Farm Park. Not only did, since we've been in here, we've been able to renovate these facilities, but we're also replacing, you remember the old pavilion, replacing that thing with a new one, 132 by 50. I think we're going to have like a little outdoor gym. It's going to be the first one, a little basketball court outdoors, right there up against the road behind the fire station, about 118 feet by 65 feet. It's going to add about 15,000 square feet of covered facilities to that park. These additions will be funded by a usage tax. They keep talking about that splash tax, and that's awesome. Because anything like this, it just, like I said, everything we've talked about just about has been funded by state, federal monies or by usage tax. It helps us to alleviate those homeowner taxes and those property taxes. And then my passion always goes back towards public safety. You guys know where I'm from. But through the pandemic, many challenges were experienced through the emergency response for the injured and the sick. As we saw our hospitals struggle throughout the state, many hurdles were identified even here at home. And I would like to thank, we got some state delegates that got on the phone with me and helped me. The fire department got on there and we all buckled down, and some of my colleagues, and we constructed some policy around ensuring safeguards, that there were response initiatives in place. I want to thank Metro Ambulance. They stepped up and helped us in assisting these agreements, and it protects the citizens, protects them, protects the citizens, and protects all of us. Paulding Fire took it a step further, and foreseeing these problems, they crafted some advanced life support. These advanced life support are put out in the rural areas, and they're put out there so that, guys, these life-saving interventions that you could have that make a difference when you have these emergencies can be put in place even while we're waiting on an ambulance, should there be some sort of a delay due to things that we've experienced, such as this pandemic. Guys, I am thankful for the fire department. I'm thankful for all of our public safety. Guys, I hope y'all pray for them each and every day, because they're out there working for y'all. I'm just so glad to serve as a commissioner here. The department heads and everybody that I work with have been just such a pleasure to work with all these years. And I'm going to tee this up for Brian Stover. He's our post 4 commissioner. And I actually wrote this down. I wrote down about the baton before I knew there was a baton. But I'm going to pass the baton on to him. He is one of the most given individuals, both of his time and his resources, that I've ever met.
Thank you, Chuck, and thank you all the commissioners that I work with, because it is delightful to be able to get something done, Following Chuck is hard to do because he's a great speaker, but I did learn something today. Next year, Jason Phillips will probably set in for me because he done such a great job. So if you do a bad job, you don't get asked to do stuff like that. But now I'm post 4, so I want to say one of the best. I want to say the best post in the county, not just because I live in it, but you got high density, you got low density. You got a lot of green space. You got Cedar Crest, of course, coming on. So I get hit from all angles, from whether you're new moving into the community, or if you live in Burnt Hickory and have lived there forever, they have a different mindset than the ones coming in from Cedar Crest. I think Chuck put it easy away one time as far as when the fire department, if they got called onto a fire, say here in Hiram, he pulls up and there's just people standing around watching. Go to Burnt Hickory and they got the hoses out putting the fire out themselves, you know. It's a great community, which I live in the Mount Olivet community, which is right below Burnt Hickory, but along with, you know, Sandy's area that's got all the green space also. It's just, Paulding County's great to live in because it's a wide variety of places. But anyway, I'll move on. I know I don't have a lot of time. So the reservoir is up and going. August of this year, had permission to start putting water into the system. On average, we're up to about 9 million gallons a day of treating our own water and mixing it into our system. So got a long way to go still. We got 2 more transmission lines before the whole county will be served. But I think it's someone he had said earlier, I mean, it's great to have your own water. The independence of water is very needed in this county and been needed for a long time. Another thing I want to talk about is the School Road Water Project. It's been on the talks from Mrs. Wages for about, I think she said the mid-70s, so I was born in 76, so about as old as I am, she's been trying to get water on that road. I'm lucky enough to be the one who's in office and then it represents Post 4 to have that done, but I did not do it all. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, from Tony Crow to Wayne Kirby to the ones, David Barnett, every commissioner worked on it. I'm just lucky enough to be the one in office when it happens. So I want to thank the past commissioners along with the water department for making this happen. And the project is expected to be in service July of 2022, so next year. And that will be a happy day for a lot of folks. So as long as with all the growth that we have, obviously in Post 4 on the Cedar Crest side, there's a lot of road projects, of course. A few of them I want to mention. So to help with the flow of traffic, someone had brought to my attention the Seven Hills Connector and 92 location, the red light. The left turn was not, arrow was not installed. I know it doesn't sound like a whole lot, but really it has helped out. I've heard so much about how much it helped out with the flow of traffic. So I want to thank George for jumping on board, getting with GDOT and getting that handled. The Seven Hills widening project. So we'll be 4-laning from the creek up to Cedar Crest, along with a roundabout, sidewalks on both sides, much needed project. Really happy to see that some people say it may be a little behind times, but I think it's really ahead of times compared to some projects that I've seen. So really the safety at Blackberry Run, if anybody that lives up that way, have a roundabout right there. It's going to slow traffic down. Really is going to be a great project, which should finish. It's a 24-month project and should finish in August of 2023. Along with traffic also on 61, very dangerous highway. I know there's been a lot of wrecks here lately, it seems like. Gotten with GDOT on some projects and looking for the safety concerns at Dabbs Bridge and 61 about moving the entrance, the intersection. I think it's probably, George, could you help me, maybe 1,000 feet down toward Cartersville with a roundabout, with a construction let date of 2025, which is kind of far out, but we're expecting to be moved up. Another good project is Fry Road and Dallas Ackworth Highway 381. Very needed, very dangerous intersection. The offset in it, growing up, I actually lived in Post 1 growing up. So going up through there was never really all that bad, but going up through there now is awful. That offset, it's going to realign everything. Completion date, it shows July of 2022. Another project, a lot of citizens and post forwards reached out about sidewalks. So got with George and has moved up the sidewalk improvement project for Graves Road, which is going to be, let's see here, I'm sorry. It says Eagle Rock Drive, which for anyone that's up there in that area, there's a small section that's sidewalks, no sidewalks. It comes on the sidewalks again. A lot of people up there jog, kind of, dangerous a little section of it right there. But they have moved that up and be glad to hopefully get that done in the next 12 months or so. Last few things, High Shoal Falls have been a new parking area, which adds 28 parking spots. During the pandemic, when it first started, people got out, started exploring new places. This was one of them. Literally, you couldn't hardly park anywhere. There's parking on the side of the road, it's parking across the street at the church, walking, blocking traffic. Had a lot of complaints. George, got with George with DOT, and they come up with this plan for 28 new parking spots. Looks great, along with actually fencing in and actually been some improvements up there. So if y'all have not been out to High Shoals Falls, you should go check it out. And also on McPherson Church Road and Silver Comet Head, Trailhead, there's a project that's just got completed that adds 15 new parking spots. So I think that's the closest one to Polk County. So was looking at, how can we add to the availability of getting onto the trail and being in that area. It really works out great. Good job. I really want to say thank you to all the department leaders. We could not do our job. We would fall flat in our face if it wasn't for them. We pick up the phone, doesn't matter if it's DOT, water, marshals, Scott Green, I don't even know if he's here. Probably call Scott more than anyone, but so thank you, Scott, if you're here. But like I said, I just want to thank the chairman for being the leader that he is, because we work great, but he keeps us kind of crowd together. And there's one more thing, and I know y'all probably want me to shut up, but I thought Dave was going to mention it, and it's just something that I was proud of, that we're moving Paulding forward. And it's one of the first things I wanted to spearhead when I became a commissioner was redoing all our ordinances and zoning regs. Hadn't been touched since the late 90s. Paulding County is by far different than what it was in the 90s, good or bad. I'm not saying either way, but that had to be addressed to push us to the direction we needed to be with economic development. I want to say thank you to the man who helped a lot, and Mr. Fred Bentley Jr. He came in with his team to revamp everything, which we should be first of next year voting on, or in front of us to vote on to adopt everything. So thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Commissioners. And I got to pass this one more time.
If you need me not to speak, that's okay.
That's all right. Got the wrong cue.
Good afternoon, everybody. As I start my department managers meetings, my name is Frank Baker, and I'm your friend. Why is that important? It's really important to me because we all have to work as a team. And so Team Paulding is really something that we harp on all the time. Most of our projects that were talked about earlier, and a lot of things that weren't talked about behind the scenes, it takes a team of folks to get those things done. And if you're not functioning as a team, you can't get them done. There's one project that I want to mention, and I'm very proud of this, for the county, is the new state court that's coming online in July of next year. There's a lot of people involved in this, and there's some photos up on the screen. We want to thank the delegation, especially Joseph Gullett. Joseph, are you still here? He's not? Joseph was really driving this and helping us a couple of years ago to get this done. This is a project that I know Judge Beavers and the judges of the Superior Court, when I worked for them directly, were wanting to do when I came on board in 2012. So we've really been wanting this. This is going to allow our county to be more efficient in our justice system. This court, typically around the state, these are the most active courts. They handle misdemeanors and traffic. So all the departments and elected officials that have been involved in this transformation of a state court, we're doing this from scratch. There's no template to do this. From property management, thank you, Jimmy, for all your help, to all the courts that are involved, the clerk's office, the probate court, the DA's office, the Superior Court, the public defender's office, Tabitha in finance, personnel. Everybody's involved in this project, and it's ongoing. So we're extremely proud of this, and I think that it's going to be so efficient when we get this done. It's going to allow your Superior Court judges to hear Superior Court cases instead of hearing minor traffic cases and real important felony cases in the same calendar. So we're really excited. The date's going to be July 1st of next year when that comes about. So some of you that know me, you're probably wondering why I haven't made a musical reference at this point. Well, last year, and it was mid-year last year, I initiated an award called Team Member of the Year. And those of you who were there remember that Stephen Dooley, I don't think Stephen's here. Is he here, Chief? Stephen Dooley, our Deputy Director of EMA, Emergency Management, was selected for that first award for all his work with the pandemic. There's a lot of people in this room who Stephen helped. And it didn't matter if you were a department within the county or you were a department in city government or a business. If you needed help from Stephen Dooley, he was there. And I always have this saying, got Dooley. So we say that a lot. So this year when I was thinking about this, and the chairman came to see me, I guess about 4 months ago, and he says, Baker Street, he says, we got to start getting ready for the state of the county. Are you going to be able to do that award? I said, yes, Mr. Chairman. He says, well, who are you thinking about? I said, it's a secret. And I knew that when I took a look at this song came up. And some of you probably, maybe everybody's heard this song. With a little help from my friends. Well, friends is plural, right? I'm sorry? Sing it. Oh, no. You know, if I sang out of key, would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ear, and I'll sing you a song. We're not going to go there, but so friends is plural. You know, I introduced myself as I'm Frank Baker and I'm your friend. But to do this award this year, we needed to recognize two people. Two people who are extremely important, like all of our department heads. But these are two individuals that touch every department, every single department, and just about every project we have in some form or fashion. So this is the part where I get myself in trouble, because there's two people in the audience who are going to be mad at me. And the reason they're going to be mad at me is they don't really like recognition. They're like me, they're behind the scenes. They want to help their people out in their departments, and they want to help their coworkers and the other folks in the county do their job. It's not about them, it's about their people. So the first person that I want to recognize is our finance director, Tabitha Pollard. Now, Tabitha does such an incredible job, and the chairman's going to talk about this a little bit, but this past year was not the typical budget cycle. It was historic. And I'm not going to steal his thunder, but she worked magic. We really worked magic, the chairman, myself, and Tabitha spent a lot of time together, and Tabitha worked magic. But the other thing that you need to know is she did everything that she normally does for us and more, and with COVID, even more. Because of all of the special stuff and circumstances that we had to deal with COVID, it came across her desk, all the grants. And those of you who have never dealt with grants, they're very difficult to deal with. And so she went through all that, took care of her people, and her people took care of us. So congratulations. Well, the second person that I want to recognize today is a lot like Tabitha. In fact, they have the same initials. It's Tara Palmer, our HR director. She's another agency director that has to deal with everything. New hires, posting jobs, discipline with employees, that's the thing we always hate. But she has spent a lot of time dealing with COVID, a lot of time. And I know that this goes back even more than a year when she first took over. But she's done some incredible things, and she's worked with the commissioners directly and myself and implemented a lot of different things that we've been able to do. In fact, I want to recognize Parnick Jennings from NFP here today. And I know that Tara worked with him and his staff and with Commissioner Caker and all the commissioners and the chairman to help us with our benefit package. And so there were a lot of changes that took place last year. We had a salary study this year that we needed to do, and that was one other thing on her plate, in addition to all the other things that she had to do. So those are the two people that I wanted to recognize today. So again, friends, plural. I'm going to hand it back to the chairman, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
As you can tell, there's not enough time in the day to talk about all the things going on in Paulding County, and I left about half of my first part out. But there were three things that I wanted to make sure got covered, and Brian already covered one in Fred Bentley. He, working with our community development department, did rewrite, this is one chapter of it. The whole thing is, I don't know if you can find it, Felicia, because I've gotten her slides all messed up. But it's about 5 times this big to totally renew the regs that, before anything like e-dining or curb shopping or any of those things were ever even thought of. We didn't have regs to cover those things. The other thing that they did was 5 new zoning applications or categories that both Fred worked with and Michael Hughes, who's, raise your hand, Michael. We've heard him speak, and he's the executive director for Economic Development Organization. But with those 5 new categories, we got the opportunity to greatly increase the revenue from the commercial side of the house rather than a couple of the commissioners alluded to coming out of our residential property tax. So our millage rate, there's the archery target. You can see at the far right, our millage rate was 5.22 at the beginning of this fiscal year. It's the lowest that's ever been recorded in Paulding County. So we're real proud of that, to be able to have balanced out more and to lower the tax millage rate lower than it's ever been before. And then there's been a couple of comments about the pandemic. For the 2 years, we never closed up. Our mission is public service, customer service, and yeah, we did rotate some staffs. We wore the mask, we social distanced, and we had a weekly conference call with the cities of Dallas and the city of Hiram, the state officials that were available to get on the line. Always Stephen Dooley and Chief Pelfrey were on so that we would know the latest from Wellstar, which was President Cuban and then his assistant Brandon Reese, so we could make a decision quickly as to what we needed to do as a full county to best respond to the curve that was going on with the virus. What about my favorite slide of my, yeah, that one right there? That's our our county clerk, Rebecca Meredith, and also our operations director, Scott Green. And I think if there was a caption under it, she'd be saying, "Now, Scott, you know that's only 5 feet, not 6 feet. And stay away from me." We appreciate all your support in the county, and we're interested in your ideas, whether it comes from phone call or text or email. We listen to you, and we want to hear from you. Have a great day. Happy holidays.
Do I get the baton now? I sincerely apologize for the delay today. I know we ran over, but thank you so much for everybody's participation. You know, you give the elected officials a program and they kind of hijack everything. So, but thank you for the words and the messages. So many great things are going on in Paulding County, and I'm very thankful to be a part of it on behalf of your Paulding Chamber. I want to remind everybody that we do not have a luncheon in January, so look for us in February. We will be back here. But I want to tell everybody to look for a big announcement in January as we talk about the best of Paulding. It'll give you an opportunity to recognize businesses and services that stand out for you here in this community. So watch for that announcement in January. So go forward, have great holidays. Don't forget the tree lighting tomorrow night, the parade on Saturday, and New Year's Eve in Dallas. Thank you.